Hey there, it's Hillary, and today I'm going to be doing a video of the 10 series on my shelf that I want to complete. Now, I am talking either starting the series because I haven't started it, finishing the series. I tried to not pick any series that wasn't a complete series. So I didn't pick Caraval. I didn't pick the Three Dark Crowns series. I tried to not pick things that I've started and it's not finished. I did pick some series that aren't finished, but I haven't started them yet. So these are the 10 series that I want to read the most. I have a lot of series on my shelf that I haven't started reading, but these are the ones I want to read the most. These are in no particular order, although the first one that I'm going to show you I am currently reading, and that is War Storm by Victoria Aveyard. I love the Red Queen series and I was super excited to get this in the mail. I pre-ordered it, and as soon as I got it, I finished the book that I was reading and I started reading this one right away. I am not very far into it. I'm only on page 25 and there's like 660 pages, but this is the conclusion to the Red Queen series, and I don't want to talk about what's going on in this book too much. Not that I know very much because I'm only 25 pages in, but it is also the 4th book in a series, so I don't want to give away too much about what's going on, because if you haven't read any of the other books, then I don't want to spoil about what should be going on in this one. But I am very excited. I love when I pick up a book like this that you remember everything that's going on in the past book. So it's almost like you're starting a book that's like action-packed, even though it's not very much going on in the very beginning of the book. It just feels like there is, because you've had so much happen in the series so far. So I'm really excited to get to this one and find out what happens, and I'm trying to stay away from like all spoilers of people who've already finished this book. The next series that I would really like to get to, and I've been saying that I want to read it for so long, is the Narnia series. I have the entire box set of the 7 books and I would like to read them all. They're such short books. I don't feel like it would take me too long to read it. Honestly, I could probably sit down and read all 7 of them in a month if I had a good month. It's just, there are always so many things that I want to read more than the Narnia series, even though I want to read that really badly. So I did start reading The Magician's Nephew, which is like the prequel story to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. In the box set, it's actually number 1, but there isn't really a movie for The Magician's Nephew. So this sort of gives you like the beginnings of Narnia and everything that's going on before The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I started reading that one and I almost finished it, to be honest, and I just never finished it the rest of the way. Although I never considered it DNFing, because it wasn't that I didn't want to finish it, I just sat it down and I started reading other things and I just never came back to it. So I do feel like if I pick that one up, I should be able to read through it pretty quickly, because I remember most of what happens in that book. In this set, the 3 books that have movies, they have the movie covers and the rest are numbered. I'm not sure why they did that in this box set. The only ones that were numbered were 1, 3, 6, and 7. So I am going to get around to reading this series. I keep saying that I'm going to read it this year, and it is my goal. I know it's May, but I still have plenty of time left this year to read it. I'm gonna read this, and I'm honestly looking really forward to reading it, because the Narnia movie was really good. That's one of the few movies that I've actually seen the movie without reading the book. It's a super action-packed and awesome story, so I can't wait to read this series. The next one that I have sitting here is the Dorothy Must Die series. I have read the first 2 books in the series. I did enjoy this. I like retellings and I like the take that she took with this series. I have Yellow Brick War on my shelf, but I didn't want to read that one because I don't have the fourth book in the series. I honestly, when I bought Yellow Brick War, I thought it was the last book in the series, and then I found out that it wasn't. So I didn't want to read Yellow Brick War without having the last book, because I thought, oh my gosh, what if that one leaves off in such a cliffhanger that I have to know what happens and I don't have the book. So it's honestly one of those series, I was reading it last year and I put it down, and then I started reading a lot of other things and I just never came back to it, and I actually never got around to buying the fourth book. So it's one of those things, I'm probably not going to read Yellow Brick War until I get the fourth book, because I think the fourth book is the conclusion to this series. So once I get the fourth book, then I probably will come back and finish this series, because I really did enjoy what I'd read so far. The next one that I have is actually one that I'm not sure if it's complete or not. I have Everland and Umberland, and they just came out with Ozland. Now, I will say with this series, I really enjoyed Everland, and I thought Umberland was just okay. I do want to read the next one to find out where the story goes, but honestly, I was not as impressed with Umberland as I was with Everland. I actually only gave that 3 stars, but I do want to see where the story goes. I think I gave Everland 4 stars. I liked this like dystopian take on Peter Pan, and then rolling another story into it with the Alice in Wonderland. I just really hated the way this one ended. I felt like the end of this book, they gave you a lot of story in such a short period of time, and then they didn't get to do very much with it because it was the very end of the book, and I didn't like that at all. I know they're setting up for a 3rd book, but you had so much time to do so much story, and you waited until like the very end of the book to do that. So I was really disappointed by this one, but not disappointed enough that I didn't want to finish the series. It just made me, like, I don't know if they did that on purpose. I actually think a lot of people weren't disappointed by the book the way I was. But like I said, I really do still want to find out what happens with the story, and hopefully the 3rd book doesn't disappoint me. The next one is Passenger and Wayfarer. These 2 books have been on my TBR for a couple months, and I just keep pushing them back on things that I'm actually reading. I am excited to read this duology. I like the idea for the story. I think it sounds really cool. I think a lot of the reviews for it have been really good. The ratings have been really good. All of the booktubers that I watch that have read it seem to really like it. So it is a duology that I want to read. It's just one that I haven't got around to picking up yet, and I have a feeling that if I do pick it up, I'm going to really enjoy it. So I don't want to keep pushing it off for too long. I think now I'm going to be focusing mostly on series that I have on my shelf and trying to like read through those and complete ones that I have that I've started. So I think this one will be one that's pushed up kind of higher because of the fact that it's only 2 books and it won't take me as long to read that one, whereas some are 6 and 7 books long. So I think this one is going to move up in high priority of things that I want to read. Speaking of 7+ books long, I'd like to read the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices and all of Cassandra Clare's books this year. I really just want to get through the ones that I have on my shelf, and then I'll see about reading other books that she's put out, like her newest series, although that one's not complete. So I don't know if I want to start reading that one until all 3 books are out, because it seems like in Lord of Shadows it leaves off on a huge cliffhanger, and I don't know if I want to be left with that until the book comes out. Although by the time I finish the like 9 books that are up on my shelf, plus some of the companion novels, honestly it'll probably be out by that point. But I do want to read the first 3 of City of Bones, and then I'm going to read, I don't know if you can see them. I think they're like right around in here. I want to read the Infernal Devices, and then I'm going to read the second 3 in the Mortal Instruments. I really do want to read this series this year. I am a bit intimidated by the fact that they are all quite large, so that is a bit intimidating. I did find out that my local library has them all on audiobooks, so I might actually listen to them all, even though I have all the books on my shelf. I might give them a listen for the first time going through them, since they are so large. The next series that I have sitting here that I would like to continue is the Grisha trilogy. I just started reading this last month, and I ended up having to sit it down. I needed to read my book for book club, and I got some books from the library that I needed to read, so I couldn't continue reading the series. I did really enjoy this one. I listened to Wonder Woman and read Shadow of Bone. I was doing them at the same time, so I was listening and reading a lot of Leigh Bardugo at one time, and I just found her to be such a great author, so like detailed, and I just really loved it. This book, it got right into the action right away. By like chapter 2, you already have a lot of stuff going on, so I'm really excited to continue this series and find out what's going on with the characters. And then after I read this one, I'm hoping to read the Six of Crows story, because it's also set in the Grisha universe. So those are some more books that I would like to get to. I don't know if I'll get to the Six of Crows this year, but eventually I would like to read those as well. So I am very excited. I can't wait to read the next 2 of these books. I'm hoping that they're going to be on my TBR for June. The next ones that I'd like to get to are the Witchland series. I have Truth Witch and I have Wind Witch, and I believe they're coming out with another one, or like 2 or 3 more or something, who knows. And I know that I said I was going to try to not do series that weren't complete, but this one I haven't started it yet, so I feel like this is one that I really would like to start, and I'd like to get into that universe and that story and see if I actually like it before I like hype up these other books that are coming out and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read that whole series, and then I have 2 books and then not like them or anything like that. I might start trying to do that with series, because I have so many series that are like partially collected on my shelves. Maybe I'll start trying to read pieces of ones before collecting a whole series, because I am worried about that some as I start collecting more books, about getting too many series and then not enjoying them. Although I am pretty open with my fantasy, so I will say that there aren't too many fantasy books that I'm like, oh, I don't like that at all, I don't like that magic system or anything like that. I pretty much enjoy every fantasy that I read, and that's honestly what I go to most. I do have quite a few contemporaries and dystopians and sci-fi and stuff like that, but the genre that I have the most of is fantasy. But I would like to start reading this one, and then hopefully continuing on with the series as she comes out with books in the future. And the last books that I have are by the same author, but they're 2 different series, and that is, the first one is Magnus Chase. I have read the first book in the Magnus Chase series. I have the second one on my shelf, and I think it's come out with the 3rd one, and I don't know if that's the end of that series. I know most of his series are like 5 books long, other than like the King Chronicles is only 3. I don't know if this one is actually only going to be 3 books long, or he's planning on writing more. I know that he's been spending a lot of time with the Trials of Apollo series, because those are the books that he just came out with the 3rd one. He's got 2 more expected to come out. And actually that is the other series that I want to read, the Trials of Apollo. I'm actually currently listening to this one on audiobook. I checked it out from my local library, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm a little less than halfway through. I'm about like chapter 15, and his books are usually in like the 30 something chapters. This one has 39, so I'm not quite halfway, but almost. So these are two series that I'd like to continue on. I think my local library has all of the Magnus Chase series on audiobook as well, so that might be another route that I continue with both of those. There are very long wait times for the books, so that's kind of a bummer, but I really do enjoy listening to Rick Riordan books on audiobooks because I feel like they have like one narrator that they use most of the time, and he is such a joy to listen to. I love listening to him read. I think the narrator that they had for the Heroes of Olympus series is the one that's narrating the Trials of Apollo, and I am enjoying it so much. I definitely will say with the Trials of Apollo, if you have not read or listened to the Heroes of Olympus series, do not read Trials of Apollo, because there are tons of spoilers, like right off the bat. Within like chapter 2, you're gonna find out about stuff that's happened in that series, and you're gonna be like super spoiled. It's like even down to like small stuff. I mean, there's like some big spoilers, and then there's some like little tiny stuff. But I just love Rick Riordan so much, and it's so funny because like technically his books are middle grade. I just love them. I just think they're so awesome. I love the humor. They're just so good. Everything, even down to the fact like that each of his chapters is titled with like a whole, almost a sentence long chapter title, but they're just so funny. So I'm excited to continue those, and I know that the Trials of Apollo series isn't completed, but I really want to go ahead and read that. I've listened or read like everything Rick Riordan this year, and I probably will read the Kane Chronicles this year too, although I'm not as excited to read that series as I am the other ones. And to be quite honest, I'm not as excited to listen to Magnus Chase or read Magnus Chase as I have been the Greek and Roman god series. I'm just not as into Norse and Egyptian mythology as I am the other, like the Greek and Roman. Those are the 10 series that are on my shelf that I want to prioritize reading. I'm not going to say this year because that's really a lot of books. Like just the Mortal Instruments series is 9 books, and I don't know if I can say this year. But those are the 10 series that I want to prioritize reading this year. If there's any series that you are really interested in reading, let me know down in the comments. And if you've really enjoyed any of these series that I really want to read, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave me a like. And if you'd like to see more videos by me, please consider subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!